Hello, everybody. I thank you for watching. I have a special guest with me tonight, a very good friend of mine. We're going to be talking a little bit about a combination of things online dating, parenting, and so forth. So, are you there?
Yep, I'm here, man.
So, on your previous topic of the parenting in the absence of fathers, and what do you think about that?
I think it's a pretty big void. I mean, I don't know. It's really sad because it seems like honestly, fathers seem to get off the hook, and women seem to be on the hook for having kids. I'm not. It's a very difficult topic because I think in some ways you have a somewhat untenable situation. Like I have a friend of mine that he actually wanted. He divorced his wife because she put the horns to him, and he wanted to have full custody of his daughter, and he lost. I mean, it's like he got the the worst part of the deal. He ended up having to pay her alimony, ended up having to pay child support, all these other things, and before they finalized the divorce, she went out and just run up all kinds of credit on him. I just took out credit and then maxed it out, and then he had
Wow.
to pay up half of that.
God.
He just got it was really really bad. He got done wrong, man, really really wrong, and he they wouldn't even consider him for custody because in some ways the law is to me is rather biased against fathers. I mean they rarely ever consider father for full custody. I mean I mean, it's funny. One of my the guys I used to work with, he got a raw deal too, and he was basically like, well, he was in South Carolina. He said, South Carolina, the only way a father gets custody of his daughter is whenever his wife is a prostitute, caught in the act while smoking crack. it's
Yeah.
it's just fair or not, that's kind of the bias there, and in some ways, I think women can make it having that kind of leverage can make it very untenable for a man to be a father.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some. I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's not all women. I mean, I've seen some women that they've done fabulous co-parenting, really just fantastic co-parenting, and I've seen other women that they are going to take every opportunity they can to get back at the wrongs that this man has perpetuated on them, which is basically he fell out of love with her, for whatever reason, you know, and it just, I mean, it's really difficult. But I think some of the problems you come across, I mean, look, I mean, a father has a big role in both, whether he has a daughter or son. I mean, as a the son, he is the example that his son sees. He sees him, you know, wake up early in the morning and help him get ready for school and drop him off and go to work and come home and still play with the kids and do the dishes and make dinner and kind of share those responsibilities. That's the example that he has, you know, and so if he doesn't have that example, okay, well, where does he learn about fathers from? Television? I mean, movies, pop culture. I mean, where does he learn about it from the potential stream of partners that his mother brings into his life? I mean, it's it's not easy.
Yeah, I think,
And
that's interesting because a friend of mine mentioned a while back, she mentioned that, she's a single mother, and she mentioned that that her kid's father doesn't come around often, that he doesn't come around to help out with the daughters and all of that. And she's not stopping him. He just doesn't come around. And I think that part of the reason why could be the fact the way he was raised. He wasn't raised to take part in that in family matters, like the way you mentioned.
he doesn't have that example.
That's probably the reason why that a lot of men nowadays, are just not they're not that good to have around, because they don't have the example to teach them how to be men.
Yeah, I mean it's and sometimes I mean I hate to, like even I sometimes I feel like I have a very low emotional IQ. I remember I was the other day because it's spring springtime where I'm at, and it rains pretty often, and the grass is getting high. I'm like, I've really got to cut the grass. So, me and my wife, we had to do something with the kids, and then I come back and I tell her, look, I've got to cut the grass. And so my son, he's coming up with a little toy lawnmower, which is funny because you put in this bubble solution and it blows bubbles. And I don't understand what he's asking me because he's 2 and he just doesn't speak clearly. And I say, I'm sorry, buddy, but I got to go mow the lawn. And so I go out there and I do my best to get done with the lawn as soon as I can. It takes about an hour and a half. I come back in, I hear my son's crying, and I go up to the bedroom with my wife. Like, what is she crying? What's he crying about? And she says, I don't know. What did you tell him? He started crying whenever you went outside. And then it occurred to me, oh, he wanted to come outside to help Daddy using his lawnmower machine, And, I wasn't really sensitive to that because I didn't get it. So you'd be surprised the kind of effect, even at 2 years old, you have on your child.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Those are opportunities you're not going to get back. Fortunately, I didn't completely blow it. I could just, I just went and got him and, and we did some other things together. And, I'm beginning to realize that, and I'm beginning to realize how much he looks up to me. It's just something I don't, like I said, I'm just dense, What can I tell you?
Yeah.
So I've got to try to be a lot more attentive to my son and take advantage of the opportunities he's given me. Because, there's opportunities that won't come around again.
True. The good thing is he's only 2, so you got plenty of time to make up.
Oh yeah, but there's a lot of kids that they get disappointed by their dads and they get jaded about fatherhood and all these other things. I've seen the opposite. I've seen men that were raised without fathers that knew their fathers were just pretty useless, and they end up in a situation where they have children out of wedlock with women who are not really thrilled to have them as co-parents, and they do their best to work through it. They refuse to not be with their children. They make the most of the opportunity they have, and that's important. And so it's I think it's hard to be a father. I think it's hard to be a Christian man in general because of the way the world tells you. Because the world says, you know what, you don't need kids, man. You can just go out and do whatever you want, and chase women and be a drunk and get into all kinds of debauchery. But if you have kids with you, you can't do that. If you have responsibilities, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the worst thing the world's telling you. And like I said, also, I think, as a man, you have to remember, whomever you choose, for lack of a better word, whoever you choose to breed with, you're stuck with them, for the rest of your life. I mean, they, whenever they grow up, they have recitals and they have graduations and events and things like that. That woman's going to be there. Whenever whenever, they have Christmas and you've got grandkids, she's going to be there. And that's just the way things are. That's the decision you made, whether you like it or not. I mean, you don't want that to happen. Hey, I'm not trying to pass judgment on you. Dude, pull out, use a condom, whatever. But, I mean, you have choices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think it's just, it's not a simple problem. And
yeah. A lot of women are, I hear a lot of women talk about, what's wrong with men, what's happening to men, and a lot of it is, like we've said, it's the lack of father example. And it's not just father example, it's wholesome father example. A lot of male examples nowadays, mostly the only examples that a lot of boys are getting nowadays are toxic examples on TV and the media. And that's pretty much that. They're not getting wholesome examples. Certainly not at home anyway.
No, not at all. I mean, and then, left to their own. I mean, think about whenever boys get curious about sex, where do they learn about sex from? The internet. What's the internet show them? Pornography. Pornography is not an accurate reflection of reality. Period. You can't it just isn't. There's no other way about it. And I mean, if that's what they think it's going to be, they're going to be very, very disappointed. Most of all, they're going to objectify things where you could have a meaningful, loving relationship, but you boil it down to those goals that you see in these depictions. And wow, that's